Hey friends, welcome back to Zach's Garage. This is another episode of On the Homestead. I'm Zach and I'm your host, and this is my homestead. So today we are working on the wood that we bought that log splitter for. Let's talk about it. So first things first, we formed a relationship with a tree company that will drop off logs and mulch for free when we ask them, generally within about a week. So that is 3 loads of logs and 1 trailer full of mulch. That is awesome. That's what we're going to be processing today. However, we also have a couple more trees that we need to process. First one being on the other side over there. You can see that's down. We actually took out our power line that runs through this opening here, and you can kind of see the line running through there that runs up to the main house. That happened a couple weeks ago. Shout out to the power company for getting it back. Last night, this big boy, it's been dead. It was on our list of trees to take down. However, a thunderstorm rolled through last night and brought it down for us. Thankfully, it fell kind of down the slope. It's hard to tell. That's about level. So it slopes just slightly down to the left. And that's a pretty big tree. I would guess probably 80 feet. But it ended up over in the ditch down there. And the base of it is back here in the trees through there. But this is a big tree. Okay, it comes up to above my knee, about knee height, so it's about 2 feet thick. I cut just this one section out so that there's road access through here because the tractor went in this morning for warranty work. So while I had my tractor, I had to capitalize on the fact that that's the only thing I have that can move it because it's too muddy for the truck to come in and pull it with a chain. So we are going to finish processing this stuff, and then we're going to work on this big pile for our firewood for the winter. Hey, so I just finished cutting this front log. It's one of the 2 really big logs that I have in the pile. The one right behind it's just about as thick, and there's one more thick one from our property buried back there. But I did like a 90% cut through, and then I need to turn it, but this area is so muddy that that log is pretty sunk in, and unfortunately my tractor is in for warranty work, so I'm really missing it right now. So I've got this 16-pound post digger tamping bar. We're gonna see if we can wedge it out. So back to time lapse. Let's see how we can. Don't know if you could tell there at the end I was struggling with that log, and we're gonna end this video off with some lessons because I messed up. So turns out that mud was pretty deep. The log sunk in a good inch or 2 into it, so it wasn't just resting on top of some mud, it was actually like cupped by mud on the bottom. And so where I thought the tip of my bar was actually in the mud, and not at the bottom of the log like I was hoping, because my goal was to cut, most way through the log, spin the log over, and then cut. And even when I got the log turned over, the bar just wasn't cutting. So I took it apart, I cleaned it, I tried to sharpen the chain, I checked the chain tension, I messed with all that, and what was happening was as I was cutting, so pretend this is the barn, we're looking straight at it, the chain on the bottom was actually cutting off to the side like that and making the whole saw kind of do this kind of deal. And so I was like, okay, something's messed up here. And after I took apart the bar and everything, this bar is pretty beat up from just a couple hours of use. I tried cleaning in the channel and that didn't do anything for me. And then I was researching it, and it turns out that this tolerance in here is really important. And if it's even a little bit off, that allows the chain to, kind of start turning in there. And so I think what happened was I got dirt in it pretty early on in the cutting there when I was towards the bottom. And as I kept running the saw, it, just bore away at that channel, which allowed the chain to turn. So I can put the end sprocket next to my ear and I can hear the grit in there. So we've got a new I'm blanking on the name, a new bar on order. We're gonna sharpen the chains. The saw's already cleaned it up, looks good. All this looks good, dropping stuff, but this looks good now. So we're gonna basically have a fresh start. We're gonna make sure that those logs are out of the mud. It hasn't rained in a couple days. We're probably actually gonna wait till next week when we have a little bit more time to attack those logs, and hopefully have the tractor back, and we will go from there. But lesson learned, don't cut in the mud, okay? Make sure your logs are up out of the mud. If you're gonna be cutting on dirt, make sure the dirt is dry and hard so you don't have your logs sinking into it. Otherwise, you're gonna be spending, it was about $65 for a new 20-inch bar, and chain takes about a half hour to sharpen by myself. So we're gonna end it off there. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Life on the Homestead on Zach's Garage. I'm Zach. See you next time.